podcast excellence since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network, kingofpodcasts.com.
Before you decide to slide into those DMs, that girl might not just block you. She might get you banned.
We are all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the King of Podcasts.
Welcome to Depraved and Debaucherous. Of course, I'm your host, King of Podcasts, and nobody else could really just host this show without having a little bit of humbleness, a little bit of humility, and know that sometimes things just don't go your way. And, you know, if you've heard my story long enough about me kind of getting screwed over and backstabbed and friend zoned and all this other stuff, you heard me doing friend zone episodes for the last couple of weeks. Well, I'm going to say it like this. I got banned this week, over the weekend, on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Grand Slam. All right. I'll explain it like this. So I've talked about that there are certain websites I go to, dating sites, sugar daddy sites, where to meet women and really just to, find attention, just to go somewhere to go talk, find companionship, hopefully. Who knows what'll happen, right? And then there was always this talk about going to Instagram, and that a lot of people will date people they meet on Instagram because guys will slide into a woman's DMs. We hear it about all the time. Well, I didn't know it was going to be like this, but look, I've already been used to the fact that on dating sites, it's one thing, almost like a badge of honor, I take it. And I've said this before. When you get banned on a dating site. Tinder does happen twice. Match.com. Plenty of Fish twice. Let me see what else. Bumble, I got banned. Hinge, I got banned. And that's the crux of it. There's not any other sites I would go to that would really give me that kind of thing. And I never had anything happen. I mean, since what? I've had Facebook since I had Facebook, past tense. Since what? 2007, 2008? Instagram, I think I had since what? 2018, 2019? I decided to open up an extra account on Instagram. Now, look, Instagram and Thread, they are loaded with spam already. They're loaded with different things that are being out there, deceptive, spam quality, all this kind of stuff. Let's not beat around the bush here. It's there, okay? There's a lot of people doing stuff out there, and who knows what goes on to these sites. But the thing is this. If I have anybody slip into my DMs, which there's plenty, listen, there's a lot of spam that comes in, okay? And when it does, fine. Look, I get it everywhere, right? Text, Telegram, WhatsApp. And like I said, with Facebook, the same thing. And what happens is that I'm in all this and I'm like, all right, I have this thing where spam comes in, you mute it, you block it. I never think about trying to go extra nefarious and say, oh no, I'm going to just, not just block somebody. Oh, that's not good enough. No, we're going to go full throttle here. There's a real level of triggering by a woman to be that upset. And I don't think I did anything. I'm positive I didn't do anything that could have caused this level of hysteria. What I will say is this. I was not talking to American women. I was trying to meet women overseas. Okay? We talk about passport bros on this program. Well, I was kind of tinkering into that myself, trying to meet women in other areas. So I did that. And so with some people that might be on social media, there might be some women that will kind of get into this route. But you know what? Then I dug into the fact that this happened to me. Now, let me explain. So I had a spam account that I was using. And when I put it in there, I put information in there and I was posting pretty regularly. And for about 2 weeks, everything was fine. And I was following certain women on DMs, or I was following certain women on Instagram. I would follow women on Threads, and it was all this thirst trap stuff that was on Threads. It's all it ever was. And every time there was getting one thing that pops up on my Threads notifications, it will be picked for you. And it would be just some girl, some thirst trap that's on there following me and whatever. Or there would be like, it would be some random suggested for you thing. It was always like that. And on Instagram, if I went in the search bar, it was always some sexual suggestion. Always on my feed. Every time. So this was a fresh feed. And when I went on here, it's the algorithm that's going to start looking what you're going to show to be searching. And so that's what happened here. And so there was all these different girls I started following. And then, of course, they're friends among friends among friends. And then I started having conversations. I had direct messages and I had a lot of pleasant ones. I was actually looking forward to going and talking more because I had some really pleasant conversations. Somebody, I don't know who it was. There wasn't anybody that gave me, like if I had a girl that rejected me, fine, move along. I didn't go along and stick around and stalk or anything like that. I moved along. And then what happened was somebody must have reported me because then I started see things coming up on that account only where there was things that I was being flagged that happened twice. And then I looked, okay, well, I don't know what it was. And then I was deleting messages, just deleting direct messages, starting back over again because I don't know what it was. And I looked at anything I put up and posted. It was just like, it was really, it was spam. It was just me making some funny content. Nothing nefarious, nothing that went outside of community standards or terms and conditions. I don't see how I violated any of them. But then another flagging. And then a ban. Like it was a ban of like, 2 weeks? Oh, I can't do direct messages to anyone. Okay. But then I was able to go ahead and navigate and follow. And I can also just go ahead and do whatever I was doing on Instagram on that particular spam account. So direct messages blocked. Okay, fine. I can't make comments. Fine. Oh no, I'm sorry. I couldn't do comments. I made comments. But then I can't do direct messages. Like I was following a lot of people at one time. Like if I saw somebody I liked, I followed. I would send messages. And there were a lot of girls that I was sending messages to just to kind of like see who I could get them to respond back. That was it. Just like I would do on a dating site. And then I get banned on that Instagram account. My other account, fine. But then it's like a domino effect. My main Instagram account, at King of Podcasts, banned. And then my Facebook account, at King of Podcasts, banned. My personal, 3,000, 4,000 followers, gone, disappeared. And then this morning I try to go and look and I'm like, permanently disabled. Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. You're telling me that somebody can't just go ahead and have an account if there's something that was wrong with it, you're going to ban? You're going to tell me you're going to go and ban everything else? Like I got a full-fledged, full-court press. Complete ban. I've never seen that in my life, but I'm announcing it today. Yes, I'm going to be proud to say I've been banned permanently on Facebook and Instagram. What I will say about it is that those were several of the least navigated social media platforms I'm on. And I didn't really pay much attention to Facebook. It was almost like an afterthought with Facebook. Instagram, I really was never much into, and then all of a sudden, it was like, okay, yeah, just look at photos, and if I want to comment, want to hit a like or whatever, or maybe a DM once in a while. On my main account, I didn't do any of that. On my King of Podcast account, all I did was repurpose on that in the Facebook page. I repurposed the clip reels, the audiograms that I put out for this show. That's it. And on my personal page, I just put out a couple of things once in a while for family or friends, and that was all I had. My Instagram, it was nothing much else than that. And then Threads, the same thing. But because of this one spam account, somebody decided to report me on there. And they got me completely excommunicated off of there. I felt bad for a couple of hours? And right now, I haven't really felt sad about it. I just have to readjust. Align with the fact that, okay, the reality is I don't have those anymore. I'm not planning to go back on there. I'm not going to go start up new accounts again. Oh, forget about it. For whatever reason, that happened. And I hope it's nothing else. But man, that's somebody that was like a real agenda. That has to be a woman that I was talking to. It was all women I was talking to on that account. Direct message or commenting or whatever. Meanwhile, if there were men that were following my page on that account, I let them follow. Fine. So for whatever reason, I got hit with this here. And booyaka, completely gone. So I'm not sure what to go and say about that, but I was just very shocked and stunned and mortified by that. But I give this out as a warning to all of you, my people here. Listen to this program. That women, it's not even here, it's not even overseas. It's also, especially in America, that women will absolutely, completely take you out of the conversation. That women are so triggered to the point that they will actually take to the level, which, I mean, what are you doing to go to that level to have to take that extra step and just report? That's the part I don't understand. You want to block somebody, fine. But when you want to just go ahead and just lay out punishment, oh my goodness, goodness to Murgatroyd, I had this guy reaching out to me. Okay, creepy DMs, fine. Block them. That's okay. I understand that part. But this right here, no, we're going to just step over the blocking, because I'm going to say this right now. Nobody on those direct messages, nobody I commented to on those direct messages blocked me. They might have ghosted, or I had a conversation and then we just dropped off. And by the way, once those messages were done, and if I got rejection, okay, delete the message. Move on. I deleted the messages and got right out. Not even a second thought about it. So I believe I was on the right. I was disciplined. I wasn't trying to do anything nefarious or anything wrong. Now, I will say this. There were women on there, on those pages, that they did ask for money. They tried, pay for play. All right. I didn't get anything from any of those women. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. But then what happened is that I didn't know anything else that happened. Like, I just saw all of a sudden blanket. And you know what happens with Facebook and Instagram? They don't give you a place to go ahead and respond or appeal. They said, oh, here's an appeal. I hit the appeal. I did the verification, whatever they asked for. And I still got all of it taken away. Complete. I never thought in social media it would be like that. But you know what? Women could go to this route. And now with the independence and the individuality and the autonomy that they feel like they have, that they have the ability, like a queen, to just go ahead and, command that said social media, ban this person because he tried to talk to me. So, of course, there are obviously women out there, and I'm taking from a story right now from boardpanda.com. They talked about, and this is from a woman's perspective, okay, where it's 50 times women had to the most savage comebacks to creepy men's DMs. So in this particular story, there are women that are coming back and making comments back to a guy that is direct messaging them, and that's what they're saying to go and get back at him. All right. So they make the point here in saying that if you are a woman with an online presence, you probably have gotten unwanted messages from men who are, at best, shooting their shot, or at worst, being horrible creeps. If you are a man, perhaps making a fake account posing as a woman, and see how many days, if not hours, it takes for a message similar to the ones here to show up in your inbox. Well, I made sure to make the fact I was a man, and I put myself out there. I did not give my full identity. Like, there was pictures I had put up there, but I never put my own pictures up there, nor did I give my real name, because it was a spam account. I was really going through a social experiment of trying to meet new women and seeing if I can go and put something out there. Once I started talking to the women and I got a rapport with them, I showed them who I was. I didn't have a problem doing that. But I want to just give myself up like that and be completely open, especially for me trying to go ahead and get used to being accustomed to going out and meeting women overseas. Maybe something will happen. I didn't expect much of it. It was just a social experiment, and I thought I would just have fun with it, and I thought it would be fine. But like I said, this created everything. Now, they talk about the fact that there are plenty of things that guys will go ahead and write when they are having messages with someone else, with a woman. And they'll do some really graphic, gross, crude messages on there. And of course, there's not anybody who wants to talk about that. Fine. One of them is where, okay, a girl says hi, and the guy says big tits. She says, yeah. He asks what size. She says huge. He asks, are you happy with him? She says, not really. He asks, why not? And then she answers, I'm a guy, and then disconnects. Fine. I don't expect anybody to even go through that route. Listen, you don't have to even go back and respond. If you want to just block, you block. But women will feel like, as keyboard warriors on here, oh, we're not even going to worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and just this guy is messing with me. And I mean, I really don't know if women are just doing it just because they're just certain guys and there's just a certain aspect of it. Because the other thing I also got a lot of, which I can tell there were guys out there that are creepy, because you get pigeonholed into that. You get stereotyped. Because there are some women, if you ask them to see another picture of them, and not asking for anything nude or anything graphic, but there's always the assumption that a woman will think, oh, you want naked pictures of them, or you want to see something sexy or whatever. It's like, that's the first thought process when the guy gets on there. So that's the other part I have to consider too, is that I don't like direct messaging on here or doing chats or texts because I never felt good about it in the first place. The more important about meeting in person and meeting people in person around where you are. That's a lesson I'm learning from this. You want to meet people, you go to where they are. You meet in person. That is the only way you can really find somebody truly wonderful in your life. It's just the way. Now, and remember, it used to be that dating sites or even dating apps were the introduction, the icebreaker, and then you moved on to meeting somebody in person. There used to be a time where we had that. But because there are all these different things, when it comes to women, if they want to be on a dating site, they won't go to the regular dating sites, right? If they're put at a premium, like remember, the most damaged women, most likely, about 90% of them are on dating apps. And then maybe 10% of them are going to get sought after by every guy on that dating app or that dating site. On a sugar daddy site, the role's reversed. But you have to pay a barrier to entry. And so for women to get on there, they probably not have to pay anything at all. Or if they're a college student, like for Seeking Arrangement, Seeking.com, you get on there and get a free account. Or most likely women will pay a lower fee to get onto the sites. Meantime, for the guys, they pay a much higher barrier to entry. Right now, if you want to go on Seeking, it's $99 for paying. If you're paying month to month, if you want to pay a 1 month fee, $139, or they have upper tiers. And same thing goes for these other sites. So when you go through that, okay, there's a barrier to entry to it. And even then, if women have these extra boundaries in front of them, and by the way, they can still go ahead and be upset with you if you're talking to them on a site, even if it's a sugar daddy site, and they could ban you. Let's just say that's happened to me too. I've had it gone all because I've been chronic about this. Remember, this is when you don't have any dates at all. When you're just on this at all, like I am. And also, I just don't compromise. I know exactly what I want. I really do. But it's part of the fact that I don't compromise. I don't settle. Now, that has been a plan that I've kept, and I've been steadfast at it. It has not worked great for me, but I've done it anyway because that's what I want. And I want things to go right the first time. If I want a serious relationship, when I was growing up and I thought about, okay, do I want to have someone that's going to be my wife someday? Someone that's going to be, if I want to be a father, I want to have kids. I said, if I'm going to get married, I need to be the right woman. If I'm going to have kids, they better be the right woman. That's the right person to be the mother for those kids. It had to be right. So I just didn't want to settle with anybody. So I might date somebody, but I'll only tell you something. When I felt like nothing was going to go right with it, and I felt no reciprocation from any of it, which was for the most part because I kept going after the wrong women, I will admit that. Then that's what I got. And then a lot of things happened because of that. It's not been a good experience. It's been negative, but I've moved along. And like I said, it's very cathartic for me to go and talk about this kind of stuff on this program. I really have appreciated the chance just to go ahead and just unload here. Like, where else am I going to go and talk about this subject here? This is a great subject. And because I also need to make sure this is aware to the audience that, guys, if you are not paying attention, if you are being nefarious, if you are being crude, obnoxious, and you are going somewhere where you're probably not going to be wanted or seen because women are very specific about who they want to have sliding into DMs. If it's just some regular schmo like me, yeah, they probably won't like it. Unless you have a proper barrier to entry or a boundary that you've gone through to get to them. It's like going to a strip club. In Florida, girls don't go to nightclubs, they go to strip clubs. So there are barriers to entry. You have to pay for parking, you got to pay for the drinks, you got to pay for the cover, and you have to keep paying the entertainment that you're not caring about because you have to deflect from them because you're trying to focus on the girl, which makes it nearly impossible for you to get close to them. But that's what happens. Same thing goes for a nightclub, except there's one less barrier to entry. The entertainment is not the women shaking their ass up in the stage. No, it's the parking, the cover, the drinks, and whatever else. Then there's also the expectations that a woman might have. Oh, you should be VIP. Why am I going to go to you here? And then you also have to look the part. You got to dress the part. You have to, all that. Like there's all these barriers to entry so that the guys they want are going to be on here. And by the way, those guys they usually want are usually just like, they're not going to stay with them. They're not going to be stable. They're not going to be relationship material. They're going to just be full around material, right? Okay. They're just going to be situationship material. That's all they're supposed to be. So not all women, but most are caught up in this mindset. Younger women, they're caught up in this mindset. If they are feeling already abused emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever it is, and they're finding themselves on websites. Okay, if they're finding themselves on social media and having people meet up or other ways around, again, that's the thing, is that when you see this going on, you got to be aware of the fact that guys now is at the point, and I can take it as an example, they will not just block you now. They will have you banned. They will actually take the extra, because one thing for the sugar daddy sites or the dating sites, all you can do is, you can report anywhere on the site. On Instagram, you got to, Instagram, Facebook, and all this stuff, you actually got to take a couple extra steps. You actually got to put a little bit more gusto in there to make someone absolutely go and say, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and just, I want this person excommunicated. I want them extinct. I want them removed to never return to Instagram, Facebook, or Threads. It actually happens. It's surprising. But there we go. It's been done. And I don't know what you do about that, but right now I'm completely logged out. Never to return. Disable my account. All I can do is download it, and that's it. Done. And there's nothing else I can do. Incredible. But it's what happened to me, and I can't do much else about it. Other things that women might get upset about, let's just go to a couple others. A guy says, I've got a dick and a knife, and one of them's going inside of you, and she says, I prefer the knife because that way I'd actually feel it. Wow. Another guy says he's been begging for weeks to do a sexy role play. She says yes and regrets everything. Then there is, I'm not even going to go into what the whole idea was, where there's a guy that writes, some guys just talk big to get pics, pathetic. And then she writes, I know, right? He says, are you looking for a daddy? She says, no. Like, where did I say I was looking? He asks, can I see your body? And then she puts up like this walrus type looking picture up there just to kind of like get everything going. So like, there is of course creepy DMs out there. But ladies, I got to ask you, do you feel empowered? Do you feel like you're really getting the one up if you felt the need to not just block? I mean, are there any women out there that have gone this far? I want to hear from you, and I want to hear from you to tell me what was the reason why you chose not just to block somebody, but to get them banned. Please, you want to be anonymous? Feel free, but I want to hear about this. If you're catching this on YouTube, please go ahead and leave a comment. If you're catching this, and I have other places left to go and be found, but I would just say, hey, hit my email, kingofpodcasts@yahoo.com. I should put an email box somewhere on my website, but kingofpodcasts@yahoo.com, or, on the YouTube, drop a comment there and you'll find the video. And just tell me if you've had to go to the level of not just banning someone that met you on social media, trying to slide into your DMs. You actually got them, and not just block them. You actually just shows, I'm just going to ban this guy. I don't want him anywhere. Like, I'm going to punish this guy. He's going to get it for even thinking he could talk to me. Like, how dare he? Well, I never, right? And that's what happened here. Now, I'm going to say this too. I think there was probably a cultural difference that probably caused this, and the kind of abuse that some of these women overseas probably get because they have their profiles up online, a lot of people following them, and who knows who they get. I can understand if there was something where they're traumatized by the fact they've had certain guys constantly hit up their DMs and be completely worse than what these guys were on this creepy DMs at this blog post. I could understand that part. But even I'm aware that those kind of things happen. And I know there are guys that are absolutely dumbasses for thinking they can go ahead and just be keyboard warriors themselves and be just as stupid to just think they could just talk to any girl and they're going to respond back. Now, it's part of one of those things too, I guess, where if a girl doesn't want to give you her phone number, no, she'll give you her Snapchat or her Instagram. Well, keep in mind, guys, it's one thing for the phone number that if you get the phone number, okay, if she doesn't call you back, whatever, they can't cancel your phone number. They can't get rid of you like that. They can't cancel you like that. Your Snapchat, if they want to, they can report you and they can get you banned there. I get that part. But if you're going to talk to them on social media, remember, women are now to the point where they're willing and courageous enough on their own volition. They can get so mad and triggered. They have no qualms, no regrets. They will not feel anything towards you and be happy to go out of their way to take the extra steps necessary to get you banned, not blocked, banned. So whatever you have that you have going on, you can absolutely get done. And think about the other sites you could be doing that on. If it happens on Twitter, if it happens on TikTok. Imagine the livelihood you had right there if you decided to go and do it. Well, now I know for the fact that, you know what, spam accounts for Meta, if you're using any one of these accounts, Facebook, Instagram, or Threads, if you're using it for anything that might be a little bit nefarious, they're going to take everything from you. They're going to take you off of all of it. Just wipe you out. And that's it. They could do that. Wow. Wow. Please take that as a warning, gentlemen, because that can very well happen. There's just better ways to handle this all, okay? You just do not need to go into social media to meet girls. I don't care if you got their information and they ask you to get on there. Do not use it. Do not message that way. Do not communicate there. By all means, meet in person. Go get a phone number, whatever. And that's it. You want to use a messenger? You want to use WhatsApp, Telegram? Fine. But get yourself to the point now where you're not getting yourself under the fear or the threat that a woman cannot just block you but ban you. Because that type of behavior, the reason you got it banned in the first place, or why they banned you, is depraved and debaucherous.